They say power reveals the soul of kings, but sometimes it consumes it entirely. In the heart of the Portuguese Empire, a queen believed she ruled in the name of God. Her throne began surrounded by light, faith, and hope, and ended in darkness and tears. This is the story of the woman who went mad and dragged an empire into chaos. Maria Francisca Isabel Josefa Antonia, daughter of King Jose I, was born destined for the throne. From an early age, she was shaped by Catholic faith, obedience, and divine fear. The priests said she had the soul of a saint, the heart of a mother, and the duty of an angel. But even angels fall when they believe too much in heaven. When she ascended to the throne in 1777, Portugal celebrated the birth of a new era. Maria was crowned amid applause and prayers, with the people calling her Maria the Pious. She promised to rule with compassion, justice, and faith. And for a brief time, she kept every word. She suspended persecutions, eased taxes, and brought peace to the court. The people saw in her a loving mother and a just sovereign. Her reign began bathed in light and hope, as if God himself were guiding her. But the glow of the throne would soon become a flame that burned her mind. The queen spent hours praying before crucifixes, seeking divine signs in every gesture. Her faith was deep but fragile, built on fear and guilt. She believed every political mistake was a mortal sin, and every silence from God an invisible punishment. Tragedy struck her heart with brutal force. First, she lost her husband, King Pedro III, the love and support that kept her balanced. Then one of her young sons was taken by death. Those losses broke something inside her. Grief turned piety into despair. Maria began to believe she was guilty of all the world's misfortunes. She spent nights praying for forgiveness for her people's sins. Servants heard her weeping alone, praying until her voice gave out. At first, it was only murmurs and tears. But soon came the delusions. She said she saw demons, smelled the fires of hell. During Mass, she screamed that the world was condemned. The faith that once guided her now devoured her from within. The court tried to hide the truth, but the palace already trembled with secrets. Ministers lied to the people while doctors and priests took turns at her side. Nothing worked, neither medicine nor prayer. The throne was in the hands of a woman who no longer knew who she was. Her son, Prince João, quietly took power. While he ruled, his mother withered inside the Ajuda Palace. Isolated, she prayed endlessly, surrounded by candles and sacred images. The living queen had become a ghost within her own empire. They said her screams echoed through the corridors at night, that she called out to her dead husband, her children, and the saints she believed she saw. Servants fled her chambers, terrified of what they heard behind the doors. Portugal still had a queen, but she lived in another world. Maria's madness became a state secret. The orders from the throne were confusing, sometimes absurd. The nobility pretended obedience, but it was Prince João who truly ruled. The empire slowly lost its direction. As the queen's mind shattered, Europe descended into war. Napoleon Bonaparte advanced, threatening thrones and crowns. Portugal, weakened and divided, was the next target. The political chaos mirrored the queen's inner chaos. In 1807, the Prince Regent made a desperate decision to flee to Brazil. Lisbon plunged into panic, and the court rushed to the ships. Among trunks, nobles and soldiers, they carried the queen, confused, trembling, unaware of everything. The entire empire was in flight, including her sanity. During the voyage, witnesses said Maria wept as she gazed at the sea. She repeated that God was punishing Portugal. Some said she laughed to herself. Others that she prayed aloud for lost souls. The queen no longer knew where the ocean ended and where hell began. In Brazil, she was placed in the royal palace of Rio de Janeiro, far from public eyes. There she lived surrounded by nurses, priests, and shadows. She prayed all day, sometimes calmly, sometimes in despair. Her mind was a storm that never ceased. Servants said she spoke with saints and saw angels hovering above the ceiling, but she also screamed at invisible demons. Some nights, her voice echoed through the gardens, begging forgiveness for imaginary sins. The golden throne had become an altar of pain. While Maria lost her sanity, her son João consolidated power in Brazil. He ruled in his mother's name, but never looked back. Portugal was far away, and the queen, forgotten. She was the sovereign of an empire that no longer existed. Years passed, and silence took over the palace. Maria aged between prayers and delusions, drifting further from reality. Those who saw her said her eyes were sad and empty, as if her soul had left long before her body. In 1816, her suffering finally ended. Maria of Portugal died at 81, far from her land, far from reason. She was buried with honors, but her name was marked by a single word: mad. The empire she loved was the same that forgot her. In history books, they tried to silence her story, calling her only a weak woman. But the truth is, Maria was a victim of something greater than herself, of a time when faith and power blurred until they destroyed those who bore them. She believed too much, and for that, she lost everything. The Mad Queen was the reflection of the Portuguese Empire itself, grand, devout, and doomed. Her shattered mind symbolized a kingdom in decay, trapped between God and fear. What destroyed her was not the crown, but the spiritual weight she carried. Maria was saint and sinner, queen and prisoner. Today, her tears echo as a warning. Power, when mixed with blind faith, can become a form of madness. Maria believed she was hearing God, but perhaps it was only her own despair, and in her fall, the entire empire knelt beside her. Thus ends the story of Maria the Foreign of Portugal, the Mad Queen, a woman who loved her people, feared her God, and lost herself along the way. The first woman to reign, and the last to realize the throne is also a prison. Power crowned her with gold, and faith with the invisible crown of madness.